Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to this podcast, The Stars Are Us. So, this is the first Stars Are Us that is happening today. And this is about well being, it's about spirituality, it's about manifestation, it's about becoming our most aligned selves. Yeah, so I made a whole 21 record, but the audio was not amazing. So this is like a second chance that I get to share this message. And it was a lot about the current moment. So Sun in Pisces, the Moon is already in Pisces, Mars in Pisces, Mercury retrograde in Pisces, North Node in Pisces, a lot of energy in Pisces. And what Pisces is about is our subconscious, is our imagination. So this is like the most fertile soil to plant whatever seeds we want to see growth. How can we make the most of this moment that we are living on? Knowing that also Pisces season is about to end, and Mercury retrograde will also end on Friday. So question how to make the most of this moment on is to be aware of our beliefs. So that's the first thing, because in our subconscious is where the programs are running. So what I said in the other record that I'm gonna repeat now is this concept of the control room. So all of us have this internal control room. Imagine like a room very isolated where you have so many plugs you can plug in and plug out, and then like sound controllers, like the sound controllers, exactly. So you can put more, you can put less, but imagine that this is regarding to beliefs and commands. Okay, so imagine there is a self-worth button, and you can put more, you can put less. Then imagine there is a self-trust button. You can put more, less. Self-aware button, more, less. So imagine, because this exists, and if we can imagine, it exists, because imagination is the key to creation. So imagine you can access this room and you can see exactly where the buttons are. And now you see that regards to self-worth, you have the button like in the middle. So it's not zero, it's not like mute, but it's also not maximum. So imagine you have the chance to go in this room and you get the chance to change it, and you get the chance to put more, and then some other buttons which will be like self-doubt, you can fully turn it off. So if we can imagine it, it's possible. If we can imagine it, we can create it. This is how art is born. This is how all ideas and creations are born. They are born out of our imagination. Everything you see here created by us was coming from our imagination. So that's the thing. We have the power to create, and we just got to be aware of this, and then from there we create. Now, in this control room, imagine we can see like our reality unfolding, and then we kind of take a step back from being in the main character role, and now we are just the director. And we see, oh, okay, so this is my reality, this is how I am living, this is where I am living, this is my relationships, this is my work, da 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 da. And from here you see like, okay, I can observe that this character is always encountering the same type of situation. Interesting. So why? Why I keep encountering the same type of situation? Well, because somehow you have a program running that is aligned to that type of situation. So first step will be to address what is that program. And by program, many times we are talking about limiting beliefs. So let's go to the idea of, okay, I'm not having healthy relationships. I am always attracting avoidant people. Okay, amazing. So, if you are always attracting avoidant people, it's probably because in one area of your life you are being avoidant. The Hermetic Principles, the first one of the Hermetic Principles, you can check on Google or ChatGPT or whatever. The first one is Law of Correspondence. And the Law of Correspondence is as above, so below, as within, so without. So this works for the principle of what's happening in the stars, it's manifesting here on Earth. What's happening inside of us, it's happening outside of us. So everything is a mirror. It's from the micro to the macro, always. This is a principle. So in this one, if you say that, oh, I'm always attracting avoidant people, then question yourself, where are you being the avoidant? In which area of your life? To which part of you? Usually in astrology, you can check where you are being the avoidant in the area where Gemini is, because that's the area where the pattern of avoidance manifests. So also if you have planets there, you will see more and more of that. I can tell you a story. It's interesting. So this was the story that helped me to have my spiritual awakening, so to say. So I had a boyfriend, which was like my dream boyfriend. Like I thought, oh, this guy is my soulmate, and I was so in love, and da 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 da. And we were together for 7 months, and then after 7 months, he disappeared. So he ghosted me. So he played the avoidant game. He played the ghosting, and for a long time I said that he abandoned me. But then I realized that he did not abandon me. He just mirrored the self-abandonment that I did to myself. And why did I say that I did this to myself? Because in the beginning stages of the relationship, he said he was not ready for the relationship, and I kind of insisted a little bit. And then he had a problem with communication. He was very inconsistent with messages, like 3 days without saying anything, and then he lived far away from me, so I only see him once a week. And I was like, okay, let's try it. So the relationship was definitely not aligned with my needs, but still I stayed because, oh, I think he's my soulmate. So I was falling into this illusion. So what happens here is that I was abandoning myself. So of course he mirrored that. And then what I also realized is that he was an avoidant and I was also an avoidant. Like he ghosted me, but I was also ghosting other people in other areas of my life. So it was the greatest mirror. And it's always like this. It's always a mirror. So when you see something happening in your reality and you go into blaming the other person, remember to turn that finger back to you. Because if it's in your reality, it's because you also have that. It's always from the internal to the external. Yeah, of course you can tell me, but so like why in this world we see these people and these leaders and these situations and da 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 if it's like that. Yes. Why? Because we all have that in ourselves, and if we see collectively so many wars, it's because a big amount of the population is in an internal war. So if we are in a war with ourselves, how can we expect a war that it's peaceful outside? It's like the idea of you like attracting people that mistreat you, that treat you poorly, that are aggressive, and then at the same time you are also doing that to yourself, like you are hurting yourself constantly and yes, speaking poorly to yourself. So of course then you will mirror that. So it is about making peace with ourselves and loving ourselves deeply. And loving ourselves deeply is a work. It's not just you go for a massage and then that's self-love, or you buy nice clothes and then that's self-love. No, self-love is a constant practice. Self-love is a daily practice in the end, because let's say that we were programmed to be in a certain way, to treat ourselves in a certain way. And it's a work to deprogram that, to change the programming. And why am I mentioning this now? Because now we have a great opportunity to do that work. We have a great opportunity to reset the system, because it's still Pisces, and Pisces is exactly about the subconscious. So we can write a new script, we can write a new story, we can imagine that new story, but then we gotta practice that new story. Until it's fully there, you have to remind yourself. And every time you go into saying poor things to yourself or treating yourself poorly, you have to remind yourself to love yourself, to speak kindly to yourself. So the power of the waters, and that astrology really helps us to see this, it's very special, because in our chart, looking into the water houses, we can have answers for where we have low self-worth, where we have protective mechanisms, and also where we can plant the new seeds for imagination. So Pisces rules imagination and the subconscious. So this is where you can do this work of planting new seeds. This is where it's needed, of imagining, of creating a new reality, new beliefs. Then where Cancer is where you find your defense mechanisms. So that's where you also find your inner safety. So working through that area of your life will help you to unlock that safety. And that safety is what manifests a new reality, a new life. And when we talk about manifesting a new reality, this doesn't need to be like something very ethereal, like I want to manifest $1 million. No, it's maybe simply having safe relationships. But then you gotta be safe within yourself. And then we have the area where Scorpio is, and that's where the self-worth is. So the low self-worth, where do I blame, where do I gaslight, where do I mistreat myself, where do I hurt myself, that's usually where the Scorpio is. And that's also where you have the power to alchemize it. So addressing all of this, and you don't need to use astrology to do it, but if you want, it's an amazing tool. It will already shift something in you, because we all have the tools, we all have the power, we all have the mechanisms. We just learn how to use them, and that's how the things can shift. So this is a great moment for that, because we are really entering a new stage, in the sense that Aries season is about to start, and this is one of the most powerful Aries seasons, I would say, because we have Neptune in Aries. So the Sun will meet Neptune in its first degrees, meaning this is very rare. We had last year as well, and now we are having it again, and now we will not have it. Well, we will have it while while Neptune is in Aries, but this is the first real start. So that, and then also Saturn in Aries meeting meeting the Sun as well. So, and also, of course, saying that Mercury retrograde finishes on Friday. So it's like Mercury retrograde ends, and then Sun enters Aries, and then Venus is also in Aries. So Saturn, Neptune, all of that. So it's really like a new, fresh start. So that's why this is a great moment to finish the chapter, to close out the cycle, and to write the new story while the soil is still fertile for that. And how to do that? Sit with yourself, connect with yourself, sit in silence, practice deep breaths, use binaural beats, use whatever tools. Meditation is like the greatest gateway. But if you cannot do it by yourself, you can always check on YouTube for videos. You can also talk to me. I also have a meditation created for the control room, so you can also ask me for that meditation. And tomorrow I will also run new moon cycle online. Cycle, no, it's a cycle, but it's a circle, where we will do also a meditation to connect with our higher self, and to break down and bring messages from our best, most empowered versions that can guide us through these new timelines that we are jumping into. So yes, one thing when we talk about these shifts, the timelines, like the old reality and the new reality, And like, I don't want to go on this too like esoterical about it. I want to break it down into things that are simple, okay? So that you understand that this is not woo-woo stuff. When we talk about shifting timelines and da 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 da, in the end, this is just like you were always believing deeply that you were unsafe, that love was unsafe, that you were not worthy. And then, of course, you were mirroring always the same thing, like people that come and they don't see your worth, or people that come and they don't choose you, or people that come and they abandon you, because this was a timeline somehow you were living on, a story you were living on, where this same script is there. So if the script is there, that's what's happening in the movie. But shifting to a new timeline is realizing that, okay, there was this script going on, and I don't want this script. This is not the script I came here to live. So I have the power to change the script. And in this new script, I am worthy of love. Love is safe. It feels safe to be loved. It feels amazing, and I am worthy. I can have it all. So when you start playing this script, and you will have to play and replay this script, it will become your reality. But this does not happen overnight, just saying like, okay, new script. No, you got to practice it. So that's why it's a mix between being delusional but being practical at the same time. I don't really love saying the delusional thing, because it can go very crazy and wild, in the sense that you really lose touch with reality, and that's not what we mean. But being delusional in the sense that, okay, this is my new story, and even if I'm not seeing it happening outside in my external reality, because sometimes it takes time to adjust, I am practicing this story because this is my new reality. At the same time, I mean being delusional but being practical, because if you go too big too fast, you will fall. Okay, it's a classic. When you put huge goals, sometimes they are too big for our mind to adjust, so we must take like small steps. So yes, first start by practicing that you are safe, and look at all the places in your life where you feel unsafe. Look at all the things you are doing that make you feel unsafe, and start by removing. So start by taking out the weeds of the garden, preparing the soil. And then from there, okay, you see you have this habit. This habit makes you feel unsafe. Like you, for instance, you have this tendency to lie, and then you feel guilty that you lied. So practice honest communication. And then from there, you will see. And then from there, yes, the belief that I am safe will start to make sense. So it's a combination between writing a new narrative, a new story, with practical steps, with also taking care of the soil where these new seeds are being planted. And that is, in the end, how you shift your reality. So it's not an overnight thing, but now this moment is great because it has the perfect fertile soil to plant the imagination, to plant the concept, to address the beliefs. But then, of course, it's about adjusting. So it's about seeing where, okay, I'm saying that, yes, now I am safe and I am worthy. But still, like in my daily reality, I'm choosing to be with someone that doesn't see me as I am. So then I am not aligning my actions with my thoughts, because I am saying one thing, but then I am doing another. So it's these little adjustments that practiced will make the difference for the manifestation of this new reality. So it's not just, yeah, I'm hearing the law of assumption every time. No, you gotta also align and also see what is not in tune with that and remove it. And I can tell you, because I had this experience, like when you are saying one thing and doing another, nothing is happening. And then you are just, why is this not working? Oh, because yeah, deep down I was not believing. I was still repeating the same patterns and expected to have a different outcome. So yes, how do you change a pattern? Of course, yes, you address it and then you change it. So, and this means like, okay, when I'm confronted with X, I always do Y. Okay, now I know that when I am confronted with X again, I will do Z instead of Y. And I will practice this. And this is how I will change a pattern. And if you are aware and if you are open, life will give you the signs immediately and quicker, quicker, quicker until it's like, oh, I am there again. Okay, I'm going to shift it. And this is how you change. So I hope this was insightful and helpful. And I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.